Well, today we have another extremely special guest, Van Austin, coach of over 43 national champions, a three-time Coach of the Year for junior diving. He's had national champions at all levels. That includes Division I, Division II, Division III college, along with junior and senior national champions. He's had some of his age groupers go on also to win Olympic medals. Welcome, Van.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Pleasure to be here. One of the things I would like to add to that list, and that I'm very proud of also, is coaching high school diving. And I'm sure that this will get to some high school coaches, and I hope I'm able to help them out. And before I do anything else, I've watched you do some of these interviews, and I want to say thank you for all you've done for diving all these years. And I don't know whether anybody's ever had a chance to say that or not, but thank you.
Well, more than welcome.
With all of the different categories that I've coached in, I would say the most important thing is to identify the objectives for each category and then do a plan to meet those objectives, because each level has their own championships, they have their own zone meets, they have their own regionals, and each time the divers have to prepare for those meets, and they cannot peak and prepare for every single one of them. They have to define what they want to prepare for. Now, operating within that plan and to meet those objectives are several different things that you should consider. One is, at first of all, is safety. Make sure, as you teach the divers dives and as you try to get them to learn new dives, that they clear the board. You want to always make sure they clear the board. Now, the process of doing that, I suggest one specific set of things. It's called directional push. When you're doing front takeoffs and inward takeoffs, you're spinning forward. Push the balls of the feet forward into the board. When you're in back takeoffs and reverse takeoffs, you're spinning backward. Push the balls of the feet backward into the board. Now the feet will, because of the springy board, heels will always come in contact with the board. The contact point is pushing into the board, and the vector that you will get will cause the diver to automatically clear the board safely, in reverses and inwards specifically. Secondly, if I might read just a little bit, you want to gain their trust and friendship. You want them to believe in you. You want them to trust when you call them out of a dive. You want them to trust that when you say something to them, that you're going to be able to do it right. You don't ever want to tell them to do something that they can't do, and you don't want to ever tell them to do something that they might get hurt on. Then number three, examine your teaching methodology. Teaching methodology is very important. The most important way and method of teaching is to tell somebody what to do in front, and then tell them that they did it right. The least effective method is to tell them what they did wrong after they've done it. At that point, all they can do is try to interpret what you said and make a decision for themselves on how to do it right. That will not work. You have to make sure that you tell them what to do in front and then tell them that they did it. Also, don't use don't, because all they will do is have a picture in their mind of what you said don't do. And I guarantee you, they will do what you said don't do, because they don't process the don't.
Well, Van, let me ask you this. Just an example of that. Diver does a front 1.5 that goes over. Mm-hmm. Tell me how you coach that.
You do want to say you did go over on that, and here's why. You went over on that because you reached underneath, because you ducked your head, because you rolled. There are a number of ways you went over. What you want to do is stop the dive with the center of gravity, take a good look at it to get your line up so that the dive is not going over. Dives going over are hard to get back to vertical. You'll use some water saves and sometimes make them look like they get back to vertical. But generally, you go over because you ignore the fact that there's a specific line that you want to go in for the entry. And you want those divers to focus on that line, and they can't really go past that line and not go over. Okay. You notice I didn't say don't go over.
Right,
okay?
I noticed that.
But you can get as simple as saying go short, okay? Basically, that is the opposite of what they just did. And you don't want to say don't go over, but you can say go short. That is a correction. Remember one thing, to make corrections, divers have to make a change. And this is extremely important. Nothing gets corrected unless it gets changed. And that change could be right, that change could be wrong. Don't be afraid to work with a change that could be wrong. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Okay? You agree to it, the diver agrees to it, it's wrong. Let's try something else. But to make a correction, a change has to be made.
So you're saying a wrong change is better than no change?
No change is unacceptable. And a wrong change is one way to get to the right change.
Oh, very good.
Okay.